Gotta get the beer right real quick. Let's go. I want to talk about mental health. And I want to talk about why you should be your best friend and why you should give yourself grace. I think that you should be your best friend because you need to be the person that understands you better than anybody. You need to be the person that forgives you when you're misunderstood. You need to be the person that gives you a second chance when you make a mistake. Because it's one thing that we know for sure. The world is going to bring you stress. The world is going to bring you anxiety. And the world is going to bring you depression. You don't need any more help getting that into your body. We somehow convince ourselves that it's important to remember all the mistakes we made. You remember every mistake, you remember every failure, you remember every single awkward thing that you ever did, that you think about it and you cringe on the inside because you've been trained to be your worst enemy. Your brain is a garden. Imagine if instead of pouring the type of water in the soil that's needed for it to grow, the type of water that is needed for it to thrive and for that green to really glow, you mix that water in with a little bit of acid. And over time, the plant started to become duller. It started to grow less. It started to thrive less. And then after a while, it just becomes a shell of its own self. And it's no longer even a plant. That's what you're doing to yourself when you have these negative thoughts. Every single time you convince yourself that it's so important that I remember the mistake that I made yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, a year, 10 years ago. Every single time you allow yourself to be a victim of your regrets, every single time you give your mind an excuse to punish you, you're pouring acid in with the water, nigga. Slowly. Like, even though a stone is powerful, your mind, a consistent drip of water over time can change the way it's shaped, can change the way that it's formed. And I think that that's really important because when you have these negative thoughts, when you're telling yourself that remembering your pain, remembering the things that bring you down, remembering the moments when you wasn't operating in your best self, it's more important than being in the present moment and loving the new life, loving the new opportunity for more opportunities. When you tell yourself that remembering your flaws is more important than creating new memories, you're slowly dripping away at that stone. You're slowly mixing acid with that water so your plant can't fucking grow. How many people have looked at an old picture on Instagram that's like 5 years ago and then you look at one of your new pictures and you see the difference in your face? Change happens right before your eyes. It's a slow, gradual build type of thing. That's what happens when you have negative thoughts though. You gotta look at it the same type of way. Slowly but surely, when you living inside of those regrets, you living inside of your mistakes, and you're not being gracious enough for yourself to move on. Nobody's holding you to that. Nobody's chaining you, making you a prisoner for the mistakes that you made in your past but yourself. And what you don't realize is today you don't see a change, but when you finally look up and you reflect back on these pictures, it's going to be a different plan. It's going to be a different mentality. It's going to be a different stone. And really, I'm nobody. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a specialist in anything, but I do analyze my own self and I do spend a lot of time thinking and trying to better myself. And what has helped for me is realizing that holding on to things that don't serve me, it has to go. Holding on to my regrets, holding on to cringeworthy moments in my mind, hating myself, doubting myself, stressing myself, making myself anxious. I don't need any extra help with that when I know the world is going to do that. The world is going to send things my way to test me, to see that if I really want the things that I claim are the desires of my heart, am I going to allow those things to stop me, or am I going to make it over that hurdle? Am I going to make it over that mountaintop? Am I going to make it over that fence so I can get what belongs to me, so I can get what I know that I deserve? They say it takes like 20 days to break a habit or something like that. It doesn't happen overnight, but try your very best, one day at a time. Even write it down. Every day. Write down your goals for the day and write down your progress for the day. Eventually, you're going to get to 20 days. If it's true that they say it takes 20 days to break a habit, then that's not that long, bro. You got 1 month to get your mind from out of a negativity to in a positive direction. And you got to forgive yourself, man. How many people in life remember themselves being somebody completely different, but over time you change? It happens right before your eyes. Sometimes you don't even really notice. That's because life moves so quickly and we're not living in the moment, and we don't put the value on days, one day at a time. So before you know it, one day at a time becomes a week at a time. A week at a time becomes a month at a time. A month at a time becomes a year at a time. And before you know it, you're not controlling your life. You feel like you're stuck in a mood because you have allowed your mind to consistently be in a negative way of thinking for 30 days. So you created the habit. And once the habit gets created, that's where the mood comes from. So you're not really stuck in a mood. You just have trained your mind to believe that it's okay to live like this. It's time to take your life back. It's time to take our life back. It's time to get back in charge. It's time to remind ourselves, you know what? Nothing's going to stop me from getting to the things that I want in my life. I might be sad. I might be anxious. I might be depressed, but I want more. As long as you want more, that's all that ever really matters. It doesn't matter what your financial situation is. It doesn't matter who don't love you, who cheated on you. As long as you want better for yourself, my nigga, you can have it. But it all starts with what you want, taking it one day at a time. Write this shit down, my nigga. Write this shit down. Mental health check-in, man. Be gracious to yourself. Be your own best friend. Be the support system that you always needed. And I gotta go get this money, man. About to put some Win and Rome beard oil on my shit so I ain't out here looking dry. You know it's cold outside. Peace.